Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage, and today we're going to be having a look at BTC. We've had a pretty strong move up last night, a bit stronger than I was actually anticipating. So we're going to be talking about a few things within this move and what we need to watch out for. Before we jump into that though, I'd like to say thank you for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and why not leave us some feedback in the comment section down below. Okay, so let's get into it. What we were looking at here was initially that we were looking for this fifth wave to end a lot shallower here, but it does seem to have extended to the upside. So looking at the current structure, there's a couple of ways of looking at it. If we're looking at it as a extension within the fifth wave, an interesting zone, if I take this from this point to this point here, bring it down, let me get this right on here. Basically, if we have a look at it like this, let's get it right on that low point. So an interesting area to me here, if we're having a fifth wave extension, would be this 1.618. So this could actually tie in with this count where we look at this as a 1, this is a 3. Basically, this move to the downside is looking to be a fourth wave, and then we could actually see one more push to the upside here into this box area here. If that's the case, what we could effectively have is that then this would complete this third wave here, and we'd have to look for further evidence that we could actually have a bigger fourth wave to play out here. So some of the zones of interest have been put on the side here. We'd have to monitor this because it's been, if this is a wave 3, this is quite a strong wave 3 in comparison to that wave 1. So it is possible we could only look to come down and retest the higher range of this, which would be, this would be the 236 zone here, which would actually line up quite nicely if this is an additional fourth wave and fifth wave to the upside here. Though we need further confirmation to see how these progress, because it is possible that we have even further extension within these waves. We've got to be careful with trying to call these impulsive waves completed when we have extensions going on, because a lot of the times it's only apparent after the fact of where the exact wave is extending. So we just need to have these zones and watch out. That would be an interesting zone to me though, if we do move up into this 21,913 to this 21,506. That could complete this fifth wave correction here, and then we could be looking for that deeper fourth wave here. So it is possible that we could then additionally look for, depending exactly where this move ends up, if we have to argue that we're going to come to this 236 and we come into this this red box zone here, it's possible that we could look to push up potentially a bit higher here, and that would be looking to potentially move up to this 22,678 to this 22,089. This zone could be a typical fifth area for this white wave, and then what we'd want to do is we'd want to see confirmation again of this additional fourth wave to the downside. So this fourth wave would potentially look to travel a lot deeper. And if I just have a look at this from this low point here, get it right on the bottom here, up into this high point, we could look to move down towards this 382 again to this 0.5. So we need to give this a bit of time to play out and see exactly where these zones come in. If we do actually start to break down from this point, it's possible within this structure, the fifth, we've had an extension further back, and that this third wave completes into these highs. I am sort of, it would look better if we have this additional push to the upside, and then we could potentially look for this fourth wave to the downside. That would look neater. It is also, like I said, possible that we have further extension within here. So we've got to be careful that we don't have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into here, and then that makes up a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then so on and so forth. So it is possible that we could still have some sets of 4s and 5s in here. An area of interest to me though would be this, if we do push up higher, would be this this channel line here. And if I could come back to the daily here, this channel's been interacted with twice. Well, we can argue there's more touch points within there, but this could be a zone that we could actually look to move up to if we continue to push up here. So currently that would be sitting at, let's have a look. So on the day, we'd be looking at about 22,591. So that's possible that we could actually see a bit more extension here to the upside before looking for this pullback to the downside. So we need to just be careful. It is possible that we could be starting to break down here. However, looking at this structure, I would be looking for the potential that actually we have this potentially making a zigzag here, or it could just be a 335 to the downside, and it's actually completed at this mark where it is here at this 20,236. So it is possible it could complete there. Alternatively, what we could be looking for here is a pushback to the upside here for a B wave. And what we'd be looking for then is effectively looking to reject somewhere between this 20,735 to this 21,032 zone. That 702 also aligns on these previous resistance points here that we've touched. So it's possible we could look to push to the upside and then have that continuation to the downside again. If that's the case, effectively what we could be looking for is a bit of a deeper retracement where we look to come down towards this 19,920 zone. Though what we would need to be aware of is, if I just have a look at this again, we could also start to form bigger structure to the downside where we form this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, though crossing back above this high point here at 21,258 would actually invalidate that potential, and we could then rather be looking for this continuation to the downside, this continuation to the upside for this fifth wave. So that's sort of the zones that I'm keeping an eye on for the moment. We are expecting a bigger pullback for this wave 2. We haven't had anything as big as it so far. So it is possible that we could be looking for this structure to play out. So we got to give it just a bit more time, see how we react. If we can't manage to break back above this high point, we face that rejection, we can then start to look for the potential that we have a deeper move here. And I mean, if I come off of the previous points here, moving down past, depends how high it goes, but moving down past this 19,393 would indicate to me that we're starting to potentially break down here, in which case we'd be looking at this as a bigger 5-wave move. And if that is the case, what we would be looking for is the potential to come down lower into these zones shown on the right hand side here, this white box area for this white 4th wave. However, we also need to be aware that we could still look to just invalidate this and break down. The structure within here is difficult to read, and within this move to the over here, we could be looking at a potential for a bigger impulsive structure to develop. And what they would be looking at is this this teal 5-wave move. So if we do manage to come down, find support within this zone and push back to the upside, it is possible we could have a structure like this playing out where we have an additional 4th and a 5th wave to the upside. Though we just have to be careful about the interaction on this channel line, in my opinion, because we can count this move in a few ways, and we're going to talk a little bit about those now. So I'm just going to turn all this stuff off for a second. Let's go back out here onto the daily. So within this move here, what I'm looking for is the fact that this is a 4th wave correction within this mess here. So that can either be from this high point, or we could potentially say that this is an ABC and we have our 4th here, in which case this could actually be a wave 1 into this low point here, where we look at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 into this area here. So it is possible that we could look at this. This wave 2 would be quite big in comparison to it, so I don't really like it. But what we could also argue is that we have a ABC from this point. That's an A, B, and a C, and this could still lead to that diagonal shape playing out, where we're looking for this just to play out as potentially as a zigzag to the upside and then break down. So we need to wait for that 4th wave confirmation. We need to, in my opinion, to continue to remain bullish, we'd have to hold back above this 19,000 zone. If we fail to do that, it's actually more likely that we could be looking to continue to the downside. So there's a few options, like I said, that can be playing out here. Earlier, within the Discord, we talked about the fact that we could even see something like this play out, where we form a triangle here. So there's a few things we need to be careful of. So even if we do get a bigger 5-wave move here, where we form this as a 5-wave move, and then potentially we come back down for that 3 waves, then we form another 5 wave move to the upside. Really, until we break this high point here of 25,211, we can always see further extension to the downside here. So we just need to be careful of how we look at these moves, because there's a few ways that we can look at them. So we just need to be aware that if we have zigzag play out here, so even if we get this retracement and we have an additional 5 wave push to the upside, it is still possible for this to break down. This would indicate to me that we're going to have a lot of sideways action for quite a long period of time. If this is the case, if we're going to have a triangle play out here, and yeah, I mean, this could take us quite deep into the year if we do get a triangle situation within here, but we don't have confirmation of that, so that's just one of the options. Even if we have a bigger 5 wave move to the upside here, which takes this high point, we'd still have to be careful that we don't have a structure like this within this move, where we have this as an A, a B, and a C as a expanding or a running flat. So if we look at this move here and we say that we have a 5 wave move play out, it is still possible that this could be a corrective structure within this bigger move here. So we need to just be aware that there is still potential to break down from this point. Just having this single 5 wave move in isolation doesn't really mean anything. We need to see that confirmation by that retracement and then looking for that push to the upside. But depending on how you want to count this move, if you want to take it from that high point and not look at it rather as a 5 and then a flat correction here, you would have to take it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then basically having a really short C wave. I don't really like that structure, but it is still possible. And then what we would be looking at is, if I jump onto this low point here, we can see that we haven't reached this 1.618. So if we were looking at it within this, effectively what we'd be looking for potentially is that one more push to the upside, and then that could either complete this as a 1, 2, 3. And then we'd be looking for that 4th as we are with the other count, or alternatively this could just complete and this could just be an A, a B, and a C, and we failed to take this high point here, and we could actually still look to break to the downside. Taking this high point here is only relevant if we are looking at this either as a contracting diagonal, which I don't think it is anymore. If it is going to develop into something, the only way it could be it wouldn't be able to be a contracting diagonal. It would have to be an expanding diagonal if it is going to be a diagonal where this is a 1, 2. You'd have to look at this as a 3rd wave into there, but then it's probably not long enough, no. We'd have to just give it a bit more time, to be honest with you. This developing as a 5 wave move here wouldn't convince me still that we have a bear market low in, and I would still be very careful of that fact. Just talking about some other things within this, we were talking about the fact that we've come past this CPR line, so it is possible we could look to come back and retest some of these. We can see that these two ones here, basically they are above these resistance, the support line area here. I'd want to hold this if we're looking at the potential for bullish moves out of this. If we had to break back below this, it would become quite likely that we're going to start to break down. Though obviously, as long as we hold this low point here of this 15,506 and this low point here, I'm going to go to this one of this 16,264. It is still possible we could see some extensions, and what I could mean by that is basically we could look at this as a 1, 2. This could effectively become a 1, 2. If we wanted to be very bullish, we could then look at this potentially as a 1, 2, and then actually we've started a bigger 5 wave move to the upside, and that would be looking basically at the potential that we were in a bigger bear market, bull market structure, or at least a bigger 5 wave move structure. So the other thing I want to talk about is the Ichimoku cloud. We've actually managed to break through this, which is a good sign, but it's whether we manage to find support above it. We can see here the support zone lands quite nicely in line with this top end of the Ichimoku cloud, so it is possible we could look to come back and retest this zone. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. The thing is, I just want to bring bring up, if I come back further here within the charts, there's been times where we've broken through it, particularly here in 2020. We fell below it. We were getting rejection of it. We broke above it, but we failed to find support, and then we had a sell-off. The same thing happened here. We broke above it. We failed to settle above it, and then we had a sell-off. So it's just something worth noting that it's happened before where we break through it, we fail to find support, and then we have a sell-off ensue afterwards. So we just need to be aware that there's not enough information here for us to confirm anything yet. We need to see a bit more, and then we can start to talk about sort of bull run mode. Okay, so we're going to leave the video there. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, and why not leave us some feedback down in the comment section below. Also in the description you'll find a link to Discord. Why not come and join us? Once in the general chat area, just mention a member of staff. We'll be happy to help you out. And as well as that, in the description below there is an affiliate link to BYBIT. This is a great exchange in our opinion. It's the one that we use when we do our trading, whether that's spot trading or leverage trading. It really is a great exchange. They have great features which help with risk management, which we can't say enough. Is, you need to be using good risk management if you're going to be trading. So if you're not sure about that, why not come down to the Discord and we can have a chat about it. Okay, so we're going to leave it there. Take care, everyone. Hope you have a great weekend.